York. Ebro in the morning on Hot 97.
Look, Ebro in the morning, beautiful Laura Stiles, Rosenberg, and the beautiful Lala.
La la la.
Good morning.
Now, Lala and I have known each other for a very, very long time. But the wife Lala, the mom Lala, right? The actress, actor, superstar Lala.
Actor.
This is a new chapter.
The author, Lala. Don't you forget.
Call her A-list Lala. You know what I'm saying?
But
Lala.
I'm still the same Lala.
Yes, absolutely. Still return all my emails, so it's great. Still come around the station. How have you been? I mean, there's a lot to unpack.
There's a lot.
But first, let's promote Power.
Okay, for sure. So Power's back. Lakeisha's still alive, which is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, Naturi was here. We were trying to get some scoops out of her, and she was like,
Right.
"I'm gonna have to wait and see."
Yeah, people seem really excited about it. The first episode was crazy, and Lakeisha's gonna get into some mess this season and some relationships this season. So it'll be interesting to watch it play out.
Power's been we talked about this with Naturi. It was a ton of potential when it started, but also I said to her, a ton of potential to fail. You never know when a musician's like, I'm going to exec produce a series, where it's going to go. Has it been a pleasant surprise for you how big it's gotten, or did you know?
I wasn't that surprised how big it got because anything 50 is involved in is huge, and I know him for so many years. When he puts his mind to something and he put all of his energy and power, he was going to make it successful no matter what. And I'm just happy to
Is
be
it
a
the
part of
biggest
it.
thing you've done acting-wise?
Acting-wise, yes. And then film-wise was like the Think Like a Man franchise.
Right, I was gonna say, that's
So,
pretty
yeah.
big too.
Yeah, but Power's been incredible, and having 50 lead the way with Courtney Kemp, our creator, has been great. And 50, as a boss, as an actor, as a person, is incredible.
And it saved stars, let's be honest.
No, it didn't
yeah.
save stars. It made stars.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Right? I mean, it's the franchise right there.
Feels like that. But now Stars does have some great other shows.
Opens the door now
Yeah,
to
for
getting
sure.
some other
I mean, it's
opportunities.
the right thing for you to say, Lala, but let me say what I was saying. You also, shout to your son who's doing amazing. I mean,
Thank you,
how tall is Cayenne now?
He's almost as tall as me. He's getting really tall. He's playing basketball. His schedule is crazy. He plays for the Gauchos based out in the Bronx.
Yeah.
And he's been killing it. He really, really surprises me on the basketball court.
How old is he?
He's 10.
10?
Yeah.
This is the one thing that's hard with me, Ebro, and I'm having the same issues. Fortunately, I see your daughter a lot, so it moves a little slower. But the last time I bumped into you was it was a few years ago at a WWE show backstage.
Yes, you're
and he
right.
was a little boy. And he was still like, oh my God, it's John Cena. And then the next time I look up on Instagram, he's crossing over Carmelo and dropping jump shots.
Right.
You had to think that obviously with your husband being the athlete that he is, there's a chance your son would have natural abilities. But you have to be impressed with how hard he works and just how good he already
I
is.
am impressed by it because we've never pushed that on him. We never pushed basketball or sports on him, but it's something he wanted to do, and he takes it so seriously, and he works so hard. He works so hard, and that in school, I just feel like I have a really good human being, and that's so important to me. He was my date to the BET Awards. He had the best time. He kept saying, "Mom, I just want to take pictures with rappers." Okay.
It's the BET Awards.
I know, it was funny.
Obviously you taking your son as a date brings up that you didn't take your husband as a date.
I never took him as a date, though, to the
I'm just
BET
kidding.
Awards.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't think so.
That's not really his thing.
But it is a conversation because I think it's very interesting that you guys are doing a great job at making sure that the bullshit stays away from the parenting stuff.
Absolutely.
From the very beginning, it seemed like
Yeah.
that.
Absolutely. It's important. I mean, people go through things, adults go through things, but in no way should that affect a child and our son, because I actually said it on Wendy Williams yesterday. I want to be an example to my son of great parents, and we still move as a family, still do things as a family. That's important to me to show that to our son because he wouldn't be able to handle that.
Did you pick up any co-parenting books along the way? Because, co-parenting's a thing.
It's a
there's
thing.
books, there's people who've written handbooks, they have blueprints, do this, make sure you don't do that. You guys should live in separate places. Don't share a bed. Don't do identity.
Well, and now there's all these new things if people get separated, the child stays in the home and the parents come in and out of the home.
Right.
But
Oh, yeah, I
the
read
child
about that
keeps
too.
the home. So the home's, it is much more of a thing than it used to be.
I did hear that. I did
Yes.
hear that.
Yeah.
You're right.
Because you
I
want
heard
the
that.
home to be constant.
Right. No,
It's
I
on the
didn't.
show Billions. If you watch the show Billions,
I love
that's in
Billions.
it.
Okay, so they do the same thing.
I love Billions.
The kid stays at
Okay.
home, and the two of them keep bouncing
Yeah.
out of the house, so the kid always stays.
Yeah, well, no, that's not what we're
That's
doing.
not what you're doing.
But I didn't read a book on it. I mean, I didn't read a book on any of this shit because I didn't expect any of this to happen.
Right, facts.
Life happens and you just got to roll with it. I always say we can't always control what happens to us, but we can control how we react to it. So I'm just reacting and going with the flow. Every day is different. There's really no blueprint on this one right here. Every day is different.
How ready, or I don't know, where are you at in talking about your personal marriage, right? Because this is not, look, I remember when you met Carmelo Anthony. I remember when you guys started dating. I remember the whole thing. I remember
when his suit pants were like size
I
44.
remember when his suit pants were too big. I remember when ex-boyfriends of yours were like, I remember all of that, right?
Yes.
But all of those things were never a part of your public persona.
No.
That was stuff that we all knew, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now to have a breakup a part of your public persona, how does that feel?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot because it's your personal business and you feel like you're playing it out in front of the world and everyone feels like they know the story. And no one really knows the story except him and I, but everyone feels like, oh, this is why, or that's why, or she's the reason, or this is the reason. And it's really none of that. You know, we've been together for 12 years, which is a long time. And in 12 years, if you don't take a detour at some point, then I don't know, no relationships are perfect.
And you guys aren't officially divorced.
No, we're not.
And so the detour sounds more like a separation for now.
Depends on the day.
Right?
That's
some
real
days are
relationship
good.
shit right there.
I mean, that's a
tell
real
you.
woman saying that. It depends on the day, because some days, you know, with your man, you want to beat the shit out of him.
Right.
Then other days, you love him. It just
Right.
depends on the day.
But let me tell you something. Him posting like a happy birthday post with Lala looking incredible. Because your birthday photos, we were like, wow. He posted a lovely
Yeah, of
message
course.
for her. And, you know, and everybody, you know what it is? Because I guess people have always followed your relationship. And essentially, you guys have been drama free. Like you said, we never hear any of
Right.
the, you know, any stuff. But people are definitely rooting for you guys.
That's nice.
To
That's nice. No, it's nice. I appreciate the love. But like I said, our relationship, marriage is no different from anyone else's, but we are playing it out to the
public,
world.
yeah.
Talk to
Yeah.
anyone that's been together for 12 years and they'll tell you they've been through ups and downs and
Of course.
breakups and back together and I hate you and I love you. Like, that's just what a marriage is. So
And that's what most relationships are, whether you're
relationships are.
married, friends, work together.
But the
like-
difference is most people don't have to play it out in front of the world like I do, but it's fine, you know.
Well, and most people aren't honest. We talk about this a lot.
That's very true.
And I've been with my wife. We've been together 12 years.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, married coming up on 5. But we're very honest about that. We know the path to forever can take all kinds of twists and turns
Exactly.
but people don't like to admit that. It's like
They
you're
don't.
married, and once you're married, and that's it. But that's not generally how life really plays out a lot. There can be a lot of
Not at all.
I like the word detour.
Detours. There's some detours.
Well, I like
But
that you guys. I like she's open to Melo moving back into the house. It sounds like.
Did I say that? Or
Wow,
did
you
you
see that headline troll he just did?
No.
Did I say that
A
or did you
detour
say-
means that we would get
Back on the
to
road.
our
Yeah.
It
destination.
depends on the day.
Depends on the day.
Or the destination. But also, you guys do operate in totally different territory, which I've thought about. Which is, if you Lala, Hot 97, MTV personality, had married Carmelo Anthony, and he had stayed in Denver, and maybe he wouldn't have been as big a player as he was, but he would have been more like a middle of the road player. You could have lived one sort of celebrity life.
Very true.
But Carmelo went to the New York Knicks.
Yes.
And you were based in New York, and your career ascended. And so you went from being a normal sort of celeb couple to being a New York celebrity couple. He's been the star player on the Knicks for almost a decade. And on top of that, his career is interesting on top of that. So you guys became like that Page 6, which does make it almost a different level than anyone can relate
It's
to.
so funny because I was reading Page 6 today. I'm like, oh, there we are again. Page 6.
You
We're-
live on Page.
We're there again.
Well, I was going to say, do you ever, I know you're pretty cool. I don't know much, but I know I've seen enough pictures to know that you're pretty cool with Kim Kardashian. Like, and
One of my closest friends.
One of your closest friends, right. So like, I can't imagine there are that many more people you could talk to about like that sort of,
The
Right.
microscope.
yeah, like,
Jeez.
can she be useful as a friend in that sort of situation with the level of eyeballs she's used to having?
Yeah, I would say all of my friends have been incredibly supportive. Serena, Sierra, Kelly, Kim, and my core, Dice, Poe, my core news, that's my core group of friends growing up. They've all been super supportive. I mean, that's what you want when you're going through anything, whether it's professional, personal. You want your friends to rally behind you and support you, and they've all been really great at that.
So did you put up, I didn't check your Instagram yet. Do you have like a shady, you have any sort of like shady Phil Jackson Instagram message up today? Like bye? Did you put up the bye Felicia? People are posting bye Felicia.
That's pretty good.
That's actually interesting. I gotta watch what I say.
Were you surprised by the news today though, to see that?
No.
Not
I wasn't surprised. I wasn't surprised. I mean, I wasn't surprised, but still interested to see how it all plays out. I think I saw what you said. It's about the owners, right?
Mm-hmm.
I read that.
About protesting ownership.
Well, I just feel like, you can continue to blame players. You can continue to blame coaches.
Mm-hmm.
You can continue to blame GMs or whatever, presidents or whatever. But at a certain point, you got to look at the top. You got to look at the top of the food chain and go, okay, what's going on that's causing this repeated behavior? Or who's doing, who's making the decisions for the whole thing?
Right.
And then you see what happens with Charles Oakley and former players what is that? Like,
right.
You're the owner of the team. Why would a former player get treated like that at the Garden? Like, why? That's how I look at it.
Right.
So I feel like there's a cancer in there that's not being discussed enough. And by the way, guess what? It's America. Somebody owns a team. It's his fucking team. He does what he wants with it. But until the fans go, we're not fucking with you anymore. Mm-hmm. We're not coming to the games anymore because we want wins. I don't pay all this money to come up in here to watch us lose. Until that changes, nothing's changing. They're the number one grossing franchise in the NBA, and they are shit. That is bonkers, bro.
Not uncommon, though. Not uncommon.
I will say, though.
No. It is uncommon for this length of period.
Sure.
For 40.
That I agree with.
But my Redskins been making money for a long time while we've been terrible.
When's the last time y'all went to the playoffs?
More recently than the Knicks.
When's the last time you went to the Super Bowl? More recently than the Knicks.
Have been
you got championships.
No. The Knicks been to the championship more recently. They went in the late 90s when they lost to Houston.
Right,
but anyways, I'm sorry. You were going to say that.
I was just going to say about Dolan. I do want to say this, that, I always speak on my own experiences with people, and my experiences with him have been incredible, and I feel like he has treated Melo incredible in his time in New York and has always been open to listening to concerns and things like that. This is stuff that goes on behind the scenes. So I do appreciate him from that perspective. But again, it'll be interesting to see how this whole thing
I'm going to ask you this
out.
one straight up blunt question.
Sure.
When Phil was throwing his shade at Melo, and I saw Melo around, then I hosted a Foot Locker event with him. And on my ESPN show, we are generally a very pro Melo show.
Okay.
And particularly with this Phil thing. Like, it had to bug you though it bugged me to see Phil just kind of throwing shade at Melo. Melo handled it like a fucking champ.
Right.
I don't know how your kind of encouragement you were giving home, but his outward stance of just kind of going to work every day was impressive.
He's good at handling it. I'm worse at handling it because he's so laid back. I mean, he has the perfect name. He is the most mellow person you'll ever meet. So laid back, so quiet, so to himself that I'm always like, you're not going to say anything? You're just going to let this happen? You're not going to... And he's like, babe, chill. It's all good.
But you've been pretty good at controlling yourself, too.
But it takes a lot. Because sometimes I just want to...
Some of those tweets...
Let's be honest, because I've been critical of Melo and his style of play.
Right.
And Lala saw me in the street and was like, I'm not coming on your show until you stop talking shit about my husband.
Good. That's called good wife.
She told you to your face.
And I was like, look, his style of play, he be slowing the ball down.
Okay, by the way, I just
it's not mixing right now.
I just want to say one thing I said on the radio yesterday. People could say Melo's a ball stopper. They love to say that. I'll tell you one thing, his game hasn't changed that much since Denver, and in Denver, it seemed to get them in the playoffs every year. So I'm not saying Melo's perfect. He's not. But he's a very good player. He's a future Hall of Famer who did a great job when he was in Denver, and things aren't working.
I'll say that the Knicks haven't done a good job at putting pieces around him to complement his scoring style.
Agreed.
Although young Kristaps seems to love him. They have a very cute. Do they have a cute relationship personally?
They do. It's like he really looks up to him and really follows his advice and guidance and really looks for his advice and guidance. But like I said, I'm looking at it the same way you guys are. Every day I see a different team. This is about to happen. I know things, but not until like they're about to happen. So I'm very curious to see how.
And do you have a preference? Do you have a preference of them staying for the Knicks or getting bought out?
My preference is to stay as close to Cayenne as possible. As his mom, that's my priority. So
I mean, DC's close.
DC's close. Cleveland's close.
Cleveland's close. DC's close.
New
Very good
York
point.
is close.
New York's very close.
Toronto's close. Boston's close. There's
Right, there's several teams.
There's
Several places.
There's several places.
Lala, I want to talk about loving someone and not being with them. Because I think that is, while you're playing your relationship out in public and the ups and downs and one day we're this, we're that, and page 6, da-da-da-da, I do believe in here is an opportunity because I think that's why people want to talk about it, is because you guys are not only have resources to take care of family and bills are paid, so you don't have the common folk problems, right? Like bills are paid.
They're paid.
Right? They're pretty good. Bills are paid.
Thank God.
Yeah. So that's off the table, where that would be like for many relationships, not
Number
having
one
enough
stressor.
money
Of course.
and
Yeah.
support and all these things. You guys are going through changes in romance and love. Let's put it that way, because that's the information that I know, right? Like you guys just, the way the relationship started is not where it is today. Talk about it as a wife, right? Loving someone even though it is not time to be together right now, and managing that over an extended period of time.
That's important. It's important because, and I feel like this is why women, and it makes me so happy, are just drawn to my strength during this time and really seem to be supporting and loving and rallying behind me, because I feel like I'm showing that, one, you don't have to dog out the person that you're with. I love him. I'm in love with him. Why would I speak bad about him? He's an incredible father. That's something to be praised and credited. And I know most people say, well, he's supposed to be that. Yes, but there's so many that aren't. So I'm going to give him all the praise for being so incredible to our son. And I think that's what's important. Like, you can't let the emotions of the moment get to you to where you're saying things that you'll later regret. What woman you know hasn't been through shit? Everyone has, on how to handle it moving forward, and how it's okay to love somebody, but just put yourself first and decide what you want for your life.
What advice do you have? And I'm sure, Roseberg, you could jump in here too, right? Where the romance of a relationship, and Laura, you know what? You're getting deep in it too. You're getting there.
Hey.
She's still under a year, so
Under a year. So
I'm getting there.
Under a year?
Not guru
Oh, it's still the
status.
honeymoon.
Wait, Laura, y'all still having sex every day?
Yes.
That's
I mean, not every
amazing.
day, but it's pretty good.
You almost
It's
got
pretty good.
you were setting her up for tomorrow.
I said not every day, but it's pretty good.
It's amazing.
It's pretty good.
Because you remember when she was single. When she was single, it was like, yo, if we're not having sex every day, I need to have sex every
No, when they
day.
first started, every time I'd bring up like my pathetic married sex life, she'd be like, "Oh, that's your problem, not mine." I'm getting it right here.
I wouldn't say it like that. But I was celebrating the fun I was having in my
That's
relationship,
it's
and I'm still
amazing.
having fun.
And
I'm
that
still having
shouldn't
fun.
stop. That should not end. That's
It
amazing.
should not, but
It does. It does.
That's not just because they're having problems. That's life.
that's period. That's why I want you guys to talk, right? Because a lot of people in their relationships, right, that will be a reason to cause a serious fracture.
But you got to,
in the
I mean, in
relationship.
that part of it, you just have to keep it exciting and keep it spicy. Otherwise, anyone, male, female, you get bored. It's just life. You get bored going to the same job every day. You got to do something different. You get bored with the same hairstyle. Like, you just got to switch it up, keep it exciting, keep it freaky, keep
Do
it
you
fun.
find yourself, we haven't talked to Melo, but I'm sure I could speak for him. You know, he loves you. He's in love with you too. But that's the interesting piece. And that's what I think people should learn. You can have all of these things and still not be connecting the way you need to keep the relationship.
On all cylinders. if
On
you will.
all cylinders to keep the relationship happy. You just sat here and said, I'm in love with him.
In love.
And most women would be like, well, what the fuck is his problem? You're beautiful. Right? And we talk to him, he'd be like, I love Lala. She's incredible. She's beautiful. But everybody's like, so what's the fucking problem?
Life can be a problem.
Life is the problem. Life is a problem sometimes, and then it changes. I mean, relationships change. There are times where one's more in than the other is more in than that one, then they're both in, then they're both out. That's just the stages of relationships. And again, it's how you deal with the problems when they come, which is why I'm just taking my time and figuring it out.
Speaking of relationships, can we go? Let's go back. Not that kind of relationship. I want to go back with Lala a little bit because I feel like we don't talk a lot about your history. Like going back to working with Luda in Atlanta, like all the way. Like what do you consider? What, for people who don't know, what was the initial first big break for Lala's life?
So the first big break was the Wu-Tang Clan was opening a clothing store in Atlanta, and I'm in love with Method Man. So
Well, you were a
I
human.
decided,
How old were you at this time?
like 15,
Okay.
I decided I was going to go see Method Man. So I went to the clothing store. I waited in line like everybody else, which is so embarrassing. Waited. And I saw that there were interns there from the radio station. And I asked them, what are you guys doing? Well, we intern. And I got like an application. I lied because you had to be, I think 17 or 18, and I was 15. I lied on it. And then a man by the name of Shaka Zulu hired me.
Of course.
And I definitely credit my career to Shaka Zulu.
Wow, to this day.
To this day, and he's one of the closest people in my life, as well as Luda. But I definitely credit it to Shaka Zulu.
And Shaka went on to be Luda's manager, but at the time he was working at the radio station
Music
also?
director.
He was the MD at the radio station.
Yes.
So he put you on, and how long did it take for you to get on air with Luda? Because you're just a kid at the beginning.
It took me about 6 months.
They started using you on air in 6 months?
Yeah.
And what was it doing? Like just letting you answer phones and be like, hey, Lala, what are people saying?
Yeah, that kind of just a little bit.
Okay.
And Chris, Luda, he hated it. He did not want me on the air because it was his shine. He wanted, but Shaka made him.
So what did Shaka see? He was like, nah, it's cool because she's let's have a young
Well,
woman.
he was like, you need a girl. Like, you need somebody to break up the monotony. You need a girl. And he was like, I don't want to do it. And Shaka just pushed, and we always just do what Shaka says.
Oh my! And how long did you guys rock together? How long was that?
A couple
show?
years. That was about 2-3 years. And
Okay.
then I went off, and Luda came in one day and said, I'm really taking this music thing seriously, and I'm going to get off the radio and get in my car and sell this mixtape all over the country. So you guys, it was myself and another guy named Poon Daddy, you need to find a job because I'm going to leave. And it was the kind of show where if he left, it was going to fall apart.
Okay.
Like, we couldn't
Neither
deal
of
with
you
that.
were experienced enough to carry the show.
No, he was the main. And I remember sitting in an office, opening a book, and sending my air check tape, which is like the demo tape for radio, to the top 10 markets, and just to see what happened. I didn't know anyone. I just put the program director's name and sent it out.
Right.
And the LA station called me and asked me to fly out.
92.3 The Beat.
Yeah, so I was about,
The Beat was first. Okay.
I was 18 years old then.
And what
Had never been to LA before. Was
and what
never
shift did they
traveling
give
like
you?
that. They gave me midday first, and then quickly they realized I was young. I was more attractive to the younger audience, and then
Nice.
they switched me to 6 to 10.
Wow.
So as a kid, they threw you on at middays at first.
Yes,
And-
right after Steve Harvey. That's why Steve Harvey and I have such a close relationship, because I used to come on right after him every
Right,
single.
right,
First
right.
it was actually Ed Lover.
Yep.
Then they left, and then it was Steve Harvey.
That
and
was
I was
when Ed
coming
Lover
on.
and Dre got syndicated
Yeah,
from,
yeah,
from
yeah.
New York.
So then you did nights in LA for how long?
I would say for about 2-3 years, and then I got the call to come work TRL and MTV, and I moved to New York.
So you moved to New York for MTV, and then Hot became like a...
Yeah, it was part of just what I was doing here because I was here. So then I jumped on the radio here as well. I was just trying to do.
Was it Tracy then?
Yeah, I was just trying to do a little bit of everything.
Wow.
And we made her Lala work with, it was you.
Jazzy Joyce.
Jazzy Joyce.
We did the
Coco
ladies'
Chanel,
Ladies' night. Ladies' night on
Yep,
Fridays.
yep.
That was fun. Had a good time doing that.
Yeah, and then how crazy was it to watch Luda become a megastar?
Still crazy.
Going from radio host, like I don't even know what other if there's another example.
Khaled.
In history. Khaled, and
Yeah.
Khaled ain't rapping. Khaled
Yeah.
still is a DJ.
Yeah.
But Luda went from you're a host to one of the biggest rappers in the world. It had to be crazy to watch that.
Still crazy. Still crazy. We're planning a birthday for him coming up, and it just blows my mind still. I remember the days sitting there. I remember when he came in and he said, I got the name of the crew. It's called Disturbing the Peace. And we're like, what? Like, he always had these ideas. And then we were all broke back then. And I remember him coming in also one day and saying, I have another idea. Let's invest money in vending machines. Let's all put our money together and buy these vending machines and stock them with candy. And he would always just have these ideas. So to see from there to where he's at now is just incredible. And still the same person. Still the same
Did you
person.
know Titty Boy back then too?
Yeah, I knew them all. I actually used to live with Four Eyes, which was another one in the crew, because we were all broke. So we were all like living in an apartment together, sleeping on the floor. We all were living together.
It's an awesome story.
Yeah, it's so cool. And also to see 2 Chainz, his own like,
It's
success.
crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, y'all did all right.
We did all right.
That crew worked out.
We did all right.
And I think a great piece of the story is the amount of work that it takes
Yes,
and the
a
amount
lot.
of sacrifice, right? Like you talk about moving to LA. Never even ever went out there just because it was an odd job opportunity,
Yes.
right? And, just taking the moments and not knowing what was on the other side, but at least going out there and taking the risk.
Yeah, and being fearless, because it's scary to just pick up and go to a place you've never been before and work. And LA radio is very different from Atlanta radio, which is where we started. New York radio, it's a different vibe. So it's like, and I'm a New York girl. So even in Atlanta, that was a different kind of thing. So being a New York girl in an LA market wasn't the easiest thing.
Wait, so you were from Jersey and moved to Atlanta?
No, I was born in Brooklyn. I'm
Born
from
in
New York.
Brooklyn.
And then I went to high school in Atlanta. I moved there in the 10th grade, and that's when I met Shaka and Luda and the whole thing.
Gotcha. And also your TRL run was incredible.
That was a good run.
I think too, for a lot of women, especially I know like Latina and Black women, it was really awesome to see ourselves on TV. I think that's why we were so we were all like championing you and like we were all about you. Because at the time, most of the hosts we couldn't connect. I mean, I remember loving Daisy Fuentes, but I felt like I'm far. She was like a model. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just to see Lala, she's like my homegirl on TV.
It was so
that
fun.
was really big.
Yeah, we had a
that
good time. We had a good time. I look back on the TRL days because when you're working. It's a job. I enjoyed it. But when I look back now, I'm like, wow, Times Square every day flooded with people.
Yeah.
Those New Year's specials we used to do. It takes looking back on it for me to go, wow, that was a special time.
Well, it was a different time for MTV.
Different time.
MTV,
Yeah,
that was truly, and no disrespect, I'm not trying to shit on MTV, even though I have many
Yes, you
times. That was the end of the initial run of what MTV was.
Right.
Like, in terms of cultural impact on a constant basis. Whereas now they're mostly based around the VMAs. MTV was every day driving music
Every
culture.
day. Although I did hear they're trying to bring TRL back.
I've heard
They're
of
trying to
it.
bring everything.
Everything
Yeah,
back. They're bringing back the beach house.
Trying to bring it.
Nessa's out of that beach house.
Shout out to Nessa.
Yeah, they got to bring Flex back out there too. I'm sure Flex ready to go. We'll do it again.
Had some fun in the
He's
in
getting
beach
those
houses.
grays out his beard.
Yeah,
He's all
yo,
good.
just for men. Hashtag just for men. You know what time it is. Now, and then I have a question. Then when you married Carmelo, would you ever get comments? And I'm just guessing this, knowing that people are ignorant and don't know anyone's history. And be like, who is this Lala? She's just famous because she's married to Carmelo Anthony.
I'm sure that sometimes.
I'm sure there had to be haters out there who didn't realize that you truly worked hard to become a celebrity
I
on
would hear
your
it
own.
sometimes. I would laugh at it because even throughout my entire marriage, I never stopped working.
Always. If
Never
it was
stop working.
like
I would never
shows.
stop working. It's great to be independent and be able to do your own thing and not rely on anybody. That's important. I don't want to rely on anybody.
Yeah. And it's easy in that position too, because basketball players, with the amount of money they make, it's very easy for someone to be like, well, I'm doing my thing, but
Yeah.
you've
Lala not sitting around.
No, I
What
can't
the
do that.
fuck?
not trying to wait
I
on
can't
that.
do
The
that.
fuck is
I'm
that?
not gonna watch somebody else live their life, and I'm just like, okay, I'm just here.
Yay.
Yeah,
What
no.
are you working on now? Because I know
So-
Power is already shot. You already done that.
Power shot. I just wrapped a movie with Whoopi Goldberg and Tessa Thompson up in Kingston, New York, which was really fun.
My dad's from Kingston, New York.
Nice.
What-
I had never been there before.
Yeah, it's a cute upstate
Yeah.
place.
We
Is it
had a
still
good time.
cute?
It's not like Kingston, Jamaica.
Not at all. It's still cute.
Yeah, but it's
still
cute. It's cute.
Yeah.
It's cute. Kingston, Jamaica's not cute. It's a lot of things. Cute isn't what it is.
No,
It's
not at all.
That's crazy. Oh, and what else?
So I did that, and then my book, The Love Playbook, I'm turning into a movie. I partnered up with Queen Latifah.
Oh.
So we're turning that into a movie.
Tight.
That book did really well. I think everyone wants to figure out love. So we're making it into a movie. I'm excited for that. And the end of this summer,
You're
going to
produce the movie.
Yeah.
You're gonna be in it too,
I'm
or-
going to be in it.
And it seems like there's a love playbook too that needs a follow up based on the current circumstances.
Exactly. There's a follow-up. There's a follow-up.
Gotta be a
Love
follow-up.
Playbook 2, the game got real.
The game changed.
The game changed.
The game changed. And then I'm launching my clothing line at the end of the summer in Lord and Taylor. So I'm super excited about
Yo,
that.
amazing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Congrats on everything. We love
Thank
you so
you.
much.
I love you guys too. Thank you. And thank you for making it easy to talk about things. It's not always easy talking about your personal life.
Now, Ebro is not going to tell you the truth, which is that when the story with you and Melo was at its highest, you remember what you said about her?
No, tell me.
Remember
What?
when the story came out, when the picture came out of the paper of her like leaving the car wearing all
I
black?
was like, oh, she working. I was like, she destroying everybody right now. She's seizing the
it was a
moment.
picture of you like in this awesome black
I was like, it was like
dress
6
looking
in the
summer.
morning.
No, and she was like, and she had a very dramatic look. You were like
Yeah.
holding your hands like this, and it was like, Lala leaves the apartment.
I was like, this some bullshit. She's working this right now. She's working. This has
to
been
go back and
months
look
in the
at
making. Now they rolling it out. Lala, we love you.
Thank
Thank
you so much.